Taylor at the Travellers Club. Charles, can you tell me first a little bit about your company? You established 30 years ago.
Yes, 1986. So this is the 30th vintage that we've sold in the country, and we've seen a lot of changes, obviously, over the last 30 years, when I think back in the 1980s Burgundy was thought of as more expensive than Bordeaux, and appealed to probably a minority of wine lovers who really loved Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, whereas now the market is much wider, broader, and Burgundy over the last 10, 20 years, as Bordeaux prices have gone up inexorably, has offered really good value. So we found a lot of people who used to buy more Bordeaux now buy probably more Burgundy than they do Bordeaux. More new wine lovers have sort of gone straight into Burgundy, and a lot of people, and if I look at my cellar, bottles from the 80s and 90s, there's probably a preponderance of Bordeaux, because we could afford first and second grades then to drink on a regular basis. And Burgundy, as I said, in the 1990s and the 80s was probably more expensive than Bordeaux for similar quality. Whereas certainly today I wouldn't say that, apart from a few of the top domains in Burgundy who I'm afraid now that they have a worldwide reputation, prices there are moving up.
Talking about the international market and maybe the squeeze on the market in the UK now.
Well, certainly we've seen over the last 10 years that a lot of the best known domains that have created an international reputation are now selling far more widely, whereas before probably the UK and the US were their two biggest markets. They now find that they're selling not only throughout Europe and the US, but the Far East and lots of other markets, including Russia, and the list goes on. So that's having a double effect, that prices tend to go up, and the volumes available have often been cut, decreased for what's available in the UK market.
Added to which, of course, there have been four small vintages as well.
Since the bumper crop in 2009, we haven't really seen a big generous crop. Individual villages have had problems with hail, but bad flowering in 2013 caused real problems. Fortunately, 14, although again the Côte d'Or was hit by hail and volumes were down, was in many places a more generous crop. So this year we've got a little bit more wine to spread around in certain places. Most of the top estates in the Côte d'Or are sort of 10, 15 hectares maximum, which produce 5,000–6,000 cases on average a year, which is not a lot compared to the top Bordeaux chateaux. And those 5,000–6,000 cases are often spread over 10 or more appellations. So there's not a lot of wine. And if certain journalists say that this is the best Vin Romanée of the vintage, everybody wants that one. What we like to do is try and find wines a little bit below the radar, and quietly sell them to our customers at prices which are a lot more affordable.
Yes, there is a point there about the Bordeaux Chateau and the volumes that they produce.
Lots of Cru Classé, which are 100 or more hectares, whereas there's nobody in the top domains in Burgundy that can approach that. They are going the same way that the top chateaux in Bordeaux. Fortunately, in Burgundy, there's probably greater depth and breadth to the market, and there's just a lovely range of super domains out there waiting to be discovered, and the quality on the whole in Burgundy is getting better all the time as a new generation takes over. The sons and daughters are making a much bigger effort. They've travelled more widely. They're technically better equipped, and they're more passionate and dedicated to what they're doing.
So you mentioned a few that you have here today, perhaps, that where the younger generation has taken over.
Well, yes, in the room today we've got Henri Darnard in Meursault, we've got Vincent Boyer also in Meursault. From the Côte de Nuit, Nicolas and David Rossignol took over Rossignol Trappé in the 1990s from their father, and all the estate's been all transformed to biodynamic, and the quality, the yield's probably fallen, but the quality has certainly gone up.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Right, 2014 vintage. What do you feel about it?
The whites are super because they're lovely, classic, wines. The grapes were picked, they were healthy, they had good levels of sugar, they had good levels of acidity. The relatively cool summer was perfect for Chardonnay, and the grapes came in with lovely concentrated flavours, and they're wines that are ripe, so they can be enjoyed young, but they've got lovely acidity and balance, so I'm sure they will age well. The reds are more patchy. They're not quite at the same level, but they're absolutely delicious, attractive wines. Most of the growers didn't try and make blockbusters because they knew that after a relatively cool summer, didn't quite thicken up the skins as much as a bit more heat and sunshine would have done. But the wines are lovely balance, lovely pure red fruits, and will give a lot of pleasure relatively soon.
Great, thank you.